Hey everyone, it's Tori and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, I'm going to walk you through how I make a photo collage in my journal and answer all of the frequently asked questions about these collages. So let's get started with answering those questions first. I always look at Pinterest for my collage images, and I typically type in the search bar the name of the theme with the word aesthetic on the end, because it gives me images directly related to the theme as well as pictures that match the vibe I'm going for. I then found a bunch of images that I thought fit that vibe in this collage and saved them all to my Pinterest board. After I saved them to the board, I downloaded all of the images to my desktop on my Mac for our next step, which is arranging and sizing images to get them ready for printing. I'm dragging all of the images I just downloaded from Pinterest to a Google slide that I sized to 11 by 8.5, which you can do if you go to File and click Page Setup. The reason my slide is that size is because that is the size of the label paper I use to print out these images later. I get asked all of the time how I size my photos, especially for my book cover layouts, but the truth is I eyeball it completely. I like to work in sections in Google Slides for my collages, so I typically have one page where I have large images that I want to use as backgrounds or like focal points in my collage, and then another page for smaller images for scattering around the spread. What's really nice about Google Slides is that you can drag these images you insert on the slide and get them the same height or width of the surrounding images, so everything looks cohesive on the collage. You can also crop them if you need to, and I leave borders around my slides so none of my photos get cut off during printing. But yeah, when it comes to sizing, I rely heavily on the blue lines that tell me if the images are the same size as the others. And once I've placed and sized all of the images, it's time to discuss how I print them. This is the most popular question I get across all of my social medias, so let's start with the paper I use. I ordered this label paper from Amazon and there's like 100 sheets in a pack. I use this because I can just peel off my images from the sheet and stick them down on my spread without any glue or tape or anything like that. When it comes to the printer I use, I luckily work at a print shop where the employees get free prints, so I always print them out at work. Our printer is called a Canon Image Press, which is freaking massive. It's a huge machine. Definitely not a regular printer you'd have at your house, but the image quality is so great because it's a toner printer, meaning we use liquid toner instead of ink. It makes the images shiny, which is beautiful in person, but I found it's annoying when I try to take photos of it and my ring light reflects off of it. But yeah, that's my printing process for my collage images, and now it's time to cut everything out and stick them down. So when it comes to cutting out images, you can definitely use like an X-Acto knife or one of those sliding cutter tools, but I'm lazy and I just use scissors. I like to leave a thin white border around my photos when I'm cutting them out, unless it's an image I'd categorize as like a background photo, quote unquote, which I usually just end up ripping up and putting in the corners. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but we are creating my April cover page collage, and each month this year I'm picking a different Taylor Swift album to focus on. For April, I thought it'd be fitting to do a Tortured Poets Department theme because that album is coming out this month. After I'm done cutting out my images, we're going to start arranging these photos on the spread. When it comes to my reading and media bullet journal cover page, I tend to work on the right spread first, which is my quote page. This is because I know I need a larger section for the quote that I want to add later to the spread, so I pick a few images and put them around this layout, specifically working around a couple of the larger images I printed out. When I'm collaging, I like to work largest to smallest. So the first thing I do is place my background images, whether I'm ripping them up and putting them in the corners, or using them to put smaller photos on top of, and I stick those down first. You'll also notice I have this large image of the typewriter with the quote and the black and white image of Taylor Swift that I arrange before I start working with the smaller images to either layer or arrange around the spread. Once I find a layout that I like, I just start taking off the backs of the label paper to stick everything down to the spread. And I move on to the left side, which is where I put my monthly header, as well as a bunch more images. So same thing, I grabbed this bookshelf that I knew I wanted to be part of the background off in the corner, as well as trying to work with this image of some paper with writing on it that I'm pretty sure I end up ripping up for the background later on, and then I start adding in the smaller pictures. I don't know if you noticed, but I try to work in rows and kind of make sure a lot of the smaller images are kind of in a mosaic style collage, I guess you'd call it. I like when they're somewhat straight and equidistant from each other because it gives a nice aesthetically pleasing look in my opinion. By the way, I know I usually do this cover page in my reset videos, but I'm putting those on hold for a while mainly because I keep filming them and uploading them too late into the month, and I don't like waiting to fill out my spreads during filming. I kind of like to just fill it out on the last day of the month before I go to bed like I used to, so that's what I'm going to do. I still really like to do the reset style videos though, so I'm definitely planning on doing like a mid-year reset in June or the beginning of July, and maybe scatter them into my posting schedule here and there. So please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming content. It's funny because I usually pick a song lyric from one of the Taylor Swift albums on my right spread as my quote page. So like in January, I did Meet Me at Midnight. In February, I'm pretty sure I did I'd Marry You with Paper Rings. And then for March, I had I'm Just a Girl Trying to Find a Place in This World. But since this album has not come out yet, I referenced one of her song titles that she posted of her vinyls, which is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. And if you're excited about the premiere of the Tortured Poets Department album, comment down below a black and white emoji. That is my reading and media bullet journal spread complete. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Also, don't forget to check out my bullet journal social medias. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!